Let me show you my countryside through these old headlights. We can take this road as far as you want to go. I'll show you how a country mile can take us all night. Feeling higher than a bull's tail up an old dirt road. I ain't gonna run or hide. We can let the fire burn wild. That's just my countryside.
Hey you guys, welcome back to our channel. Welcome to our homestead here in the Piedmont area of North Carolina. My name is Lorena and I thank you for joining me for another video. If you're new here, welcome to you. And if you're returning, I appreciate every single one of you guys. Today we're gonna talk about the difference between the static coop, which is a stationary coop, and the rotational coop that we have out there in the pasture. That is a movable or transportable coop. So we want to talk about the differences between that one, and we're going to go over some of the pros and the cons of each style. I'll give you a spoiler alert, we do appreciate both of them for different reasons. So let's get started. Pros and cons, stationary versus rotational. Okay, so here we have the stationary coop. You can see here that it's got the nesting boxes on the side. It has the door that you can we pull one of the sleds up to that door to be able to take the poop out. And it has windows on the side as well that offer some ventilation. These plans we purchased over on Etsy. I can leave that link in the show notes below. The reason why we really like this coop is, number one, you can see that it's in the middle of the garden. Okay, so when we have scraps and things that we need to dispose of, things that the chickens would probably enjoy, things that still have compost and dirt that they like to scratch in, there's bugs, those all go into this garden area with this garden flock. That was the reason and the intention behind putting the stationary coop here in the middle of the garden. Okay, so here's our coop. This is the one that we got off of Etsy, the plans. And so you have the nesting boxes along the front here. We'll take a look inside. Hi, girl. So this has 5 nesting boxes, which is nice. And it holds about 13, I would say 12 to 15 hens, depending on the size of the hens. So they don't have to fight over nesting boxes, which is nice. I will also say that because they're on the same ground all the time in this coop, I do put some diatomaceous earth down on the ground just to kind of cut down on any sort of like parasite, things like that. And we do make sure that we are consistent with the garlic and apple cider vinegar in their water. So this is the inside here. We use it's a product that we got from a friend. We bought it by like the truckload. We put it on the garden, but it's just little pine shavings that they use in the chicken houses. So we use that to kind of put a little bit of moisture absorbing in there. And then the roosting bars is more than sufficient for the amount of hens that we have in here. So we do like that it holds just a small little breeding flock. Nothing huge and ginormous, so it's less maintenance, which is nice. This is the other side here. You guys need some food. Okay, so having the chickens here in the garden area really is nice for having to dispose of scraps and things like that within the garden area. We like that we also don't have to change out the nesting box debris that we put in there. So like things like straw or hay, whatever you're using, pine shavings to fill up your nesting boxes, it doesn't fall through on this one because it has a solid floor. So we really do like that. The windows on the front here offer some ventilation for during the hot summer months. We like that it's durable. We don't have to worry about rain or snow or freezing temperatures. They really are pretty secure here. There's really minimal effort that we have to put in besides just changing out their poop droppings every day. We come out here. I have heard people that do the deep litter methods. That may work for some people. It's not something that I really feel comfortable with. I guess it's just a me thing where I just get nervous that that's going to harbor mites and bugs. And so I really like that we change this out every single day just to get rid of it. We don't have any bedding that all the mites and bugs are going to breed in. So yeah, so this is really beneficial, number one, for the gardener, and number two, that we don't have to move it every day either, because moving the coop, and we'll talk about that, it does take some work. And the drawback, I would say, for this one is that their droppings, we really are not able to spread that around, and that we do have to clean our droppings every day, or at least once a week if you're doing the deep litter method on this. So that would definitely be a drawback, is that you do have to clean up that poop. The benefit is that it's, number one, it's secure. You don't have to move it. You don't have to take down fencing. You don't have to redo the electric boxes, move the waters, do all of the feeders. We don't have to do any of that with this. So that is a definite benefit to this style of coop. Okay, so we're out here at the pasture flock. This is the Chickshaw 2.0. You guys have heard me talk about that in previous videos. I will say that you'll notice a theme, that the benefits to the garden stationary flock is really kind of in contrast with the Chickshaw 2.0. So what we love about this Chickshaw 2.0 is that we're actually using it to help generate grass out here in our pasture. This was raw land, and so really it's just been all dirt and weeds up until recently. So the benefit is that their fertilizer, as they go poop, is going into the soil, and that poop going into the soil is changing the pH of the soil. So that is a major benefit. That is what we use this Chickshaw 2.0 for. The benefit of obviously being that we don't have to clean up the coop. Their droppings go through the hardwire mesh that's inside of the coop, and so we don't have to clean it up. The other benefit to this is that we can hold a lot more chickens. So this actually holds up to like 35 chickens. Technically, now we don't want to overcrowd our chickens, so we kind of just go by, like, gauge it by space. But you can, it's supposed to be able to hold up to 35 chickens. So that's a major benefit. The drawbacks to this Chickshaw 2.0 is, number one, it's heavy. So moving this, we usually do it about once every like 2 weeks, because we don't have mature lush grass on the areas that we're putting them, and we're using it to generate grass. We usually will leave them on there a little bit longer than what's typically recommended, so that they don't kill your grass. So we leave them on here about 2 weeks, and we mulch it with a hay that kind of is your carbon added with the green, the manure. And so that actually is helpful in generating the grass, but it is heavy. So moving them every week or two can be quite a bit of a chore. My husband's kind of gotten used to it, but it is a little bit of extra work that with the garden flock stationary coop, we don't have to do. So the other drawback to this Chickshaw 2.0 is that the nesting boxes. So the nesting boxes, and I'll show you guys some footage of each one, the insides and kind of what it looks like. Don't mind the poop because I did not clean up all of the stuff. But the nesting boxes are milk crates. And so with milk crates, you have those open holes. And so therefore you lose some of that straw, hay, pine shavings that you use. We did actually take some laminate flooring that we had used for the inside of the stationary coop, and we put that inside each one because we were losing so much. So that definitely has helped, but even with that, we still lose more than what we would like and what we would typically have to replenish on a weekly basis. So as you can tell, the benefit of the stationary is that it's stationary. But with that, you have the poop cleanup that you have to do. So the benefit to the rotational grazing coop is that it's rotational and you don't have to clean up the poop. So the heaviness of this one, moving all this fencing, moving the electric, the feeders, all of that is a little bit more work, but it just depends on what your goals are, and it depends on what you're trying to accomplish on your homestead. So would I be as daring to say that one is better? Absolutely not. It just depends. Obviously, number one, we went over your goals. What are your goals? Number two, how much time do you have to change coop, litter, to do all of the routine maintenance that comes with it? And are you trying to generate pasture? Again, going back to the goals. So I wouldn't say that one is in particularly better than the other. Obviously, the boys that have to do the chicken poop every morning, they really appreciate the rotational grazing But with that, my husband does not care as much for the part of having to move them, although he does appreciate not having to spend a ton of money on fertilizer. So again, it goes back to your goals on what you're trying to accomplish on your homestead. So let's go in here. I'll kind of show you some video of the insides a little bit so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about here. You'll see that we have some broody hens out here. I think we have 2, maybe 3 even. So yeah, you just have to give them a little bit of privacy. You'll probably hear them squawking at you, but let's take a look here. Okay, so here is the Chickshaw 2.0. You'll see that it has the front door that does close up. The automatic door we put on separate. So that door actually it does close all the way. But we just leave it down so we don't have to let them out every morning, which is nice for the maintenance aspect of it. We did put this shade structure on the side of it here. The arm of it broke, and that's the other thing, is that if you're moving it quite a bit, then you're going to have some things that break on it, things that just kind of wear out a little bit quicker. You'll see on the side here is the hardwire mesh on the coop, and that is exactly what's on the bottom, so that their droppings just fall right through. On the inside, you can see the roosting bars along the bottom, and those are what they roost on every night when they sleep. I would say one of the drawbacks that I would also mention is that the poop collects here on this corrugated material that we use on the top. So that's kind of a doozy. When you go to lift this up, all that poop kind of comes off. You can like scrape it off that way too. It just doesn't always come very clean. So aesthetically, it's not as like pleasing. So if that's something that's important to you, then that's definitely something to think about. It has this bar that goes across the top here, or across the side. So that comes off. I just put it up top when I'm checking eggs. And there's Honey. We're pretty sure that she's going broody too. Yeah. Hi, Mama. Her feathers are all fluffed up. So these are the nesting boxes. So you can see down there that there's some hay that we put. And anytime that we move the chickens, we do 2 bales of hay in this area. This is 164-foot fencing. So we do 2 bales of hay, and then we just fill up these next nesting boxes with some of that hay. And we've got Mary. So as you can see, it has 4 nesting boxes, which seems to be okay for the most part. When they go broody, that proves to be the only time that's a challenge. So this is the 2.0. We like that they can go underneath still to offer some aerial protection from the hawks and from the rain also. But overall, we really like this. We like the benefits that we get from it. The being able to rotate them around this pasture has been really amazing to be able to generate as part of our pasture prep. And there's a video on that. We actually have a playlist, and so you can watch some of that. But you can see this area here is the spot that they were in. And out there, they have yet to be out there as far as this fencing. So it's definitely a lot more like desert looking. And you can see over here, this is where they've been. And you can just see the difference already just within the few months that they were here in these spots. So big difference, depends on what your goals are. But I would say that both of them have their pros and cons. It just depends on what your goals are. Okay, so there you have it. You see the differences, the pros, the cons of the stationary garden coop that we have, as well as the rotational grazing Chickshaw 2.0. So just to recap, let's talk about the poop is number 1 and having to clean that up. How much time do you have to clean up the poop? Number 2, the moving of your coop. How much time do you have to dedicate to moving the Chickshaw 2.0? Is that something that you have the time to do in your weeks? With the stationary, you don't have to move it. With the Chickshaw, you do. With the Chickshaw, you don't have to clean the poop. With the garden flock stationary, you do. So those are definitely pros and cons to both styles of coops. We love both of them the same. There's not one that I would necessarily pick over the other. Depending on who has the chore, the moving or the poop, they would probably weigh in heavily on this. But as far as I'm concerned, as looking at the value that they both bring insane value. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. If this was helpful for you, please like this video and please subscribe if you have not already. We really value every single one of you guys as we build this channel out. If you have questions, drop them down into the comment section and we'll be happy to answer those. But as always, we thank you for being here and see you on the next one.